Welcome back to the Have Not Room. I am Ben here with Brian, and it's been a bit. It's been, I'd say, about 2 weeks since we've been together to talk about Big Brother 27. But life has gotten in the way a little bit. For good reason.
I got married. Ben was one of my groomsmen, so we weren't here last week. We were busy.
Yeah, we're back a little
now.
Busy. The one thing I say, the more important than Big Brother.
Exactly.
Yeah. We barely made it.
I was like, should I bring my recording stuff to the place where it's staying? And I was like, probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it was a beautiful wedding, wonderful time, and a lot of chaos though that we missed in the Big Brother house.
I know, we missed so much.
Yeah.
Where do we even start, Ben?
I think we can probably start with the double eviction, because also with this episode, we got like the jury segments with Kelly and Lauren coming in and Keanu, and kind of like very quickly go through some of the stuff that's happened to try to set up the end game here.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, so, I was obviously pretty busy for the double eviction. So if you want to take the lead on this, and I can just comment on, what I've seen since then.
Yeah. Well, I think that the big storylines in the double eviction, I would say, were leading into the double eviction night, the night before, obviously, on the Wednesday night episode, and then also, obviously in the week leading up that Vincent's HOH week. There was a lot of back and forth between Morgan and Vince about whether or not Morgan was going to be able to convince Vince to put up Lauren on the block. And he does end up putting Lauren on the block as a replacement nominee that week. But she does end up winning the blockbuster in the first half of the double eviction, saving herself. And Kelly goes home in that first half of the double eviction with a tie vote, as we saw. We saw a recap in this episode tonight. Brian, what's your kind of thoughts on the Morgan and Vince arguing the whole week about like the Lauren stuff, and that Lauren's name came up today on the live feeds. Morgan and Vince continue to argue about Lauren, even to this day, only an hour ago.
I think at least we'll talk a lot about the jury segment and how stuff's being perceived in. But at least for us on the outside, I think this was really the moment where the win equity shifted to Morgan very heavily. At least for me, this is where I was like, all right, like if Morgan convinces Vince to do this and Vince does it, like she's kind of running the shit, Yeah,
it even gets referenced like very briefly. The jury segments in this episode were like, I don't know how I feel about them. There was, goods and bads that we can get into, but like it was referenced like, after the jury sees Vince do this, everyone's like, oh, so this was Morgan's HOH.
Yeah.
And that, I think, has been the narrative that has gone on these last 2 weeks that we haven't covered, is basically Vince giving up his very limited agency in the game up until this point, and completely capitulating to whatever is best for Morgan, or whatever Morgan wants. Not even whatever is best for Morgan, but just doing whatever Morgan says. And that has become the perception. Lauren and Kelly obviously leave in the double eviction with this perception. They both think that Vince is spineless. They both credit Morgan, but Lauren also then blames Vince, which is, I think, pretty funny. And then, Keanu leaves feeling very personally burnt by Vinny and crediting Morgan. Ava similarly leaves feeling burnt by Vince, crediting Morgan. The perspective that is being at least universally kind of pushed here within the jurors that are leaving as they're leaving, and then also within the house, is that Morgan is controlling Vince's game, at least down the stretch here.
And I think that's right. Frankly, I mean, we knew that literally from the first moment of this season when Vince won the HOH in episode 1, Vince has just been set up to be this guy who cannot step up and grab hold of things when he has power. Like the winning the HOHs are nice because he's staying, but he's not like enacting his will with these, in a way that other players have. And, then it's like, wow, that's really impressive that they were basically able to control the season because he kept winning the comps.
Mhm.
He's like winning the comps, but not getting the upside of like everything that's happening is what he wants necessarily.
Yeah. It's very weird. It's like very, like, it's not something you see very often on Big Brother. Somebody like who wins a bunch of comps but still doesn't get his way. Like, it's very bizarre to like have somebody that is like that. Look, that's the thing, right? Vinny we'll talk about like the result of the final HOH parts 1 and 2, but like today, it's been very clear that this game means a lot to Vinny, and he's like played it very hard, and he's done things in the game that are slimy, as Rachel puts it, but it doesn't feel like he has the wherewithal within him as a person to like take any amount of accountability for his actions or like accept responsibility for like the things that he has done within the game to make other people upset. And you see this as each person is voted out, he'll like continue and like lie to them. And Ava pointed out in this episode and some of the flashback stuff that we get at the front, the idea that like he just can't like let somebody down easy and like be like, yeah, I'm voting you out. It is what it is. This is best for my game. I'm sorry. And it's, that's what I have to do. He has to continuously like lead them on up until like the like millisecond before they walk out the house. And I think that's like the real thing that like is kind of getting buried here, where as Ava put it, he lies unnecessarily and like repeatedly over and over again, just for no reason.
It reminds me a little bit of Paul in BB19.
Yeah.
Just like super unforced error of just lying even when it's over for no reason.
But Paul didn't do things that were against his best interest. Like, you could argue like taking Josh deep into the game in hindsight was not great.
Sure.
And like, there were better people, like there were better duos that he could have taken into that final 3 than Josh and Christmas. Josh was probably the worst duo for him to take into the final 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's where the comparison between Paul and Vinny ends, is like incapability of being able to take responsibility and just like, let people down easy, make them feel better about being evicted.
Yeah, it's not good. It's really not good. And I think like, well, I don't even know, because you're more up on the latest feeds. Maybe he's not even going to make the final 2. I don't know. But
legitimately insane, because like, right now we kind of saw the setup in this episode at the start with the fallout, or we saw a little bit of it last night with the jokes that he made. And then also the fallout from the Ava house meeting. What we haven't been seeing much in the episodes is Ashley's been putting in an enormous amount of work to drive a wedge socially between Vinny and Morgan for the last few days. Basically, like, since like around when Keanu went out. She, as soon as Morgan won the final 4 HOH, Ashley has been like basically like beating the drum of like trying to get them to not take each other, in particular trying to get Morgan to take her over Vince to at least guarantee second place. So yeah, there's been a lot of work put in, both by Vince himself putting his foot in his mouth repeatedly, and other people like Keanu, Ava, and especially Ashley trying to get Morgan to cut him, which seems like she's now considering.
Yeah, man. I like Vince just, and we see this with people in real life where they just like have to be like overly reassured about everything, which is annoying in real life. And yes, like when you're in, a pressure cooker like the Big Brother house, it's just like, oh my God, dude, like shut up,
Yes, that is it too, because like it is very much the way that he goes about it. It is, and we see it on the feeds this week in particular. He throws a pity party for himself even when he's succeeding, and when like the person who is ending your game is like doing like a woe is me, charade.
Right.
That feels really extra bad because you're like, why are you upset? I'm the one getting evicted. You're the one fucking me over. Why are you like having a pity party for yourself about it? Like it's just infuriating to have to deal with something like that. I cannot.
Nothing worse.
Ultimately, like there aren't many instances. I think if I were on Big Brother, where I would be like traditionally bitter, but like dealing with Vince would make me lose my fucking mind. I would never want to vote for Vince to win this game.
I agree. I mean, and he just does it to himself. He is his own worst enemy, and like I feel bad in the sense that we've gotten a little bit of like more insight into his psyche, where he feels like he always gets in his own way, and it's just like sometimes when people say that, I was like, I don't necessarily believe it, but I see you, Vince, and like, no, this guy does get in his own way. It's like for no reason. He is self-sabotaging.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the meme, like the men will do anything besides go to therapy,
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, please, Skydance, Paramount, whoever is in charge, still send this man like to a few years of therapy on the house, because like, especially if he gets third, he's fucked his life up for nothing.
Yeah, they didn't get the 75K.
They didn't even get the 75K. Oh, tough. I mean, this game is not for the weak.
Yeah, I mean, we see this also with Lauren, who goes out in the second half of the double eviction, and we see her coming into the jury house, and Rachel basically to her face is like, "Yeah, you're a little puppy dog that just followed Vince around," which not unfair, harsh, but true.
Yeah, I thought it was setting up a confrontation because like she said it, and then
Lauren was going to get in a confrontation.
I did. I was fooled. Because Rachel said it, and then it cut to her being like, "I didn't appreciate that," and then she just didn't address it to Rachel. I was like, all right.
And then she was like, "Yeah, you know what? Maybe Rachel had a point. Maybe I do need to be a bit more like a pit bull or whatever she said." Like,
yeah, point taken.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah. I guess we lost Kelly. Vince actually had to make a decision, which had to have been a nightmare.
Yeah, live on TV.
Yeah. Oh my God, terrible. Kelly, she's very annoying. First and foremost, most importantly, Ben suffered the most for us by watching hours of feeds and hours of Kelly on feed. So
I've had multiple crash outs over Kelly on this podcast. So
she was leaving dead bugs around, which I didn't appreciate. I didn't like that very much. I guess what's worse, moldy lemon water or dead bugs being left everywhere? Tough to say. I think spilling the moldy lemon water on yourself, that is horrible.
Yeah, it was gross. It was definitely very gross. Yeah.
But it was kind of fun to watch her win and annoy people that way. But I wasn't sad to see her go, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would have been very funny if Lauren had gone home on Vince's HOH after Morgan strong arms him into putting her on the block. But if that wasn't going to happen, like I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth with Kelly going home.
Agreed. And then we lost Lauren anyways the same night, so it's like, all right. Like it had to kind of suck for her to win the blockbuster and then still get evicted that night. But very cool of Keanu to jump over the podium. That was neat. Yeah,
I don't know if I would have the wherewithal to do. I feel like I would just be too afraid that I was going to fall on my face on live TV. But he's very nimble for like a big dude.
He's a for real athlete. Like to be that big and that, like you said, nimble and fast and everything, crazy. But we did lose him. It's very funny. On Wednesday night, we watch Survivor and we do the Survivor podcast, and Dylan also does it, and he doesn't watch Big Brother. So his only introduction to this season was the mastermind showing up to take over the week, which has to just be so strange and a reminder of like how weird this show is for everyone else other than us super fans who are, streaming about it at 9 on a Friday night.
Yeah, it's definitely like when Dylan's like, "What is this voodoo shit?"
Yeah. Like you said, he didn't even get to see them actually stabbing the voodoo dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this is gonna be a tangent, but you'll probably appreciate that. It reminded me of Real Gilligan's Island. Do you remember that show?
I never watched it. I am familiar with it though. What it reminded me of was the Jackbox party game where you like do the haunted house trivia thing.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought it was fun. Whatever.
Definitely of the Mastermind sped up week twists, definitely the better one because it was just normal Big Brother, just half the week instead of a full week. I that's perfectly fine. In fact, I actually liked it. I thought it was good. I hope that they speed up the end game more in future seasons because without the blockbuster, we don't need the blockbuster going until the final 6. But I think the final 6 on being just a sped up like boom 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 get them out of here. I think it really has worked this season. That's like a big complaint that a lot of people have about the ending of Big Brother is because so much is just determined by who wins the comps, and then there's not a lot of complex decision making that happens, and it's rare that like people change their minds over the course of multiple days. The feeds will get very slow, so just like doubling the speed of the eliminations at the end game.
No, I think it's great. I mean, and you keep like the more players in the house for longer. Even though we're like, how are they going to get rid of all of these people? Like it did work, and I agree. I hope they do the same thing going forward. And I think we've had a lot of complaints about this season, but this is not one of them.
I mean, I haven't had a ton of complaints about the season. I've had a lot of complaints about the quality of the gameplay from a lot of the players, but my only complaint really from the season is the White Locust week. I think that minus that week, I think the rest of the season has been great. Obviously, that week on it by itself was an enormous stain, I think, on what could have otherwise been like a really high tier season. But otherwise, I think that a lot of the decisions they made this season have been pretty good. Also, keeping they didn't need to keep the blockbuster that late, but those are like the 2 complaints, I think.
Yeah. So I guess Keanu, horrible Big Brother player, great character, very fun.
Horrible Big Brother player. I cannot be overstated.
Yeah, again, the fact that he was this close to comping out and winning the season is concerning. But I think it's very funny that you called it like what happens when 2 like early pre-merge or pre-jury votes get to the end game with Kelly and Keanu. Like it is very true. Like in any other season without a AI Arena or Blockbuster, he's toast.
Well, I mean, he didn't. I think the first blockbuster he won was the Zach eviction. So he saved himself with vetoes for the first 3 times, or like Casey saved himself with a veto, and then he saved himself with 2 additional vetoes. So he would have, at the very least, gone out the Zach week is probably the earliest he realistically was going to go. But Kelly, would have gone out.
Or no, Catherine was also.
No, Zach's been out for quite a while.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, still, I think it was week 5, I think 6, like that.
Yeah, so it was like old last pre-jury.
Yes.
Yeah. And we had Riley and Catherine after that,
and then Mickey.
Kind of whirlwind and Mickey. Yeah. So yeah, I think that he was fun. He'll be on the challenge for the next decade. He'll be fun. He'll probably win a season or 2 of that.
I mean, I think that I personally am pro Rachel AFP, but I think that Keanu has a good shot of also winning AFP as well. I'm getting $50,000 from that, so he'll be fine.
Exactly. And so, Ava Pearl, someone whose stock was so high at the beginning of the game, and then just like this last month and a half, just completely crashed with the fans.
Yeah, I mean both as a player and also with the fans. I think the White Locust was like the start of her demise, both as a player and like as a character on the show. Because like yeah, I mean early weeks like I was talking about how like she was one of the best players, if not the best player, and she was like in a position to go deep, and she did go deep.
Really far.
But she could have done a lot better if she like played the game.
That's true.
It's just very frustrating because I think that she has a lot of the tools to be successful at Big Brother, but she just doesn't have the wherewithal to actually execute on, gaming. Like you compare her to like a Morgan or an Ashley or even a Vince, like all three of the final three just like constantly gaming over and over and over again. Morgan and Vince are up until 4:30 in the morning, BB time, every single night, gaming or arguing, or cuddling or whatever.
Other stuff.
Many times actually talking about the game until deep into the wee hours of the morning. Whereas like Ava, like you're lucky to get like 20 minutes of game talk out of her a day, and it's like this to me was like she started to really game like the second it was already over.
Right.
Like the things like this house meeting, things like her campaigning to Vince, a lot of the stuff she did in the week leading up to Kiana's eviction and also her eviction, like she did start the game a little bit more, but it was very much a too little too late kind of deal. And it's like very frustrating because I agree. I think she had a lot of positive aspects to her. And then obviously like her decision making during the White Locust round was really horrible. And arguably the start of the domino effect of her losing the game.
Yeah, I mean, is what it is. She seemed to have been gunning for America's favorite player. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's going to be Rachel or Keanu, and it's not going to be like the whoever's in third is not even going to be close to the two of them.
Yeah. So we got the first few seconds of the part one of the final HOH. Mm-hmm. Looks very hard.
Yeah.
So, Morgan won that. Great for her. Not that surprising once we saw what it was,
I mean, a lot of people were speculating that Vince would have an advantage in part one because he won the wall. He did win this, sword mastermind an endurance competition thing. So like he has been probably the best in endurance comps this season. So I think a lot of people had him as their bet on who they thought was going to win part one. But I mean, Morgan also just killing it in comps for the last 6 weeks basically. So not surprising.
Yeah, comped out from pretty far.
Final 10.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
not something someone should be able to do. So props to her.
Yeah, I mean, even Jag was technically vulnerable for one round in the end game of last season. He just had Bowie Jane and not win those comps and then not take him out. So
yeah. So yeah, very impressive there. And then I think we all, and Ashley's my winner pick, so I was hopeful, but I think I was like, probably not gonna win. I haven't had the Ashley has won something since week 1. And I've been waiting, but she won part 2.
Yep. Yeah. So I think a lot of people, me included, have been like, yeah, I mean, like for the last week or two, like, yeah, I mean, Ashley on paper can win the season, but, I don't think she's going to be beating Vince and Morgan in the comp. But she did. She beat Vince in the part 2 comp. From what we understand, Vince had an enormous lead and then choked. So we'll see how that plays out on the finale night. Yeah. Frankie Grande was the host of the competition. And also, it sounds like the mastermind revealed his identity. And the current speculation is that it's Dr. Will, but we'll see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Obviously, even if whoever it turns out to have been, it's just they filmed a segment for this competition. Dr. Will has not been behind the mask all season long. Writing the White Locust twist into the ether and having recruiting Amy as his accomplice. It's been a PA assistant with a voice changer. But yeah, we'll see. It'd be interesting to see how that all plays out on the finale. And then, yeah, we're kind of in an interesting position here because I've just been assuming, like, since like the final like 6, I've just kind of been assuming that Morgan is the winner of the season because like she had like such a huge swath of the win equity for so long in this end game. But right now, I mean, Ashley 1000% is going to cut Morgan and take Vince. And Morgan is currently speculating that she might cut Vince and take Ashley, which I think is probably a mistake. I don't know if that'll matter, but it's still probably like, slightly I guess it depends because, the jury segment we got, there were people like Rachel who were seemingly higher on Vince. But like, I don't know. I don't really think that Vince is winning Ava, Kelly, Lauren, or Keanu's vote if Morgan is sitting next to him. So, and also Will was very high on Morgan in his confessionals. So I think that she's like potentially throwing away like a 6-1 win for like maybe like a 4-3 could go either way situation, which is not something you should be doing. Like, I think she would still beat Ashley, but it's like really like, kudos to Ashley for even getting this to be a potential thing that could happen.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, and hey, Ashley cuts Morgan. People have made the comparison online. I know you did in the group chat earlier. Mm-hmm. Shades of Steve cutting Vanessa.
Yep.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, no, we'll see. It definitely makes the finale way more interesting. I think that both the idea that we could get Ashley actually winning the final HOH and cutting Morgan, and we get the potential of Morgan cutting Vince. I think both of those are like really compelling options in the fact that it could be either, because the final HOH part 3 is going to be questions about the jury. It's going to be usually like some integration of memory about the season. And a lot of the time these questions are pretty easy, and then it comes down to a tiebreaker. And we saw Morgan's tiebreaker performance in the double eviction with Keanu. Not great. So definitely not impossible here that we get Ashley winning this comp.
Yeah, it should be fun. We'll be back Monday to recap it all. And yeah, I mean, it's been a fun season. I'm really proud of us for sticking through and actually doing the whole season this time. Mm-hmm. Minus last week, obviously. That's extenuating circumstances. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And anything that we didn't get to mention that you wanted to?
No, I mean, Vince has been very insufferable on the feed since having lost. I think a lot of it is probably to do with like, we saw on the episodes, he very much does not think that he has a girlfriend anymore. And then he also supposedly like, at the end after he lost part 2, yelled like something along the lines of like, I'm still going to be like a broke fucking loser or something like that. So yeah, it definitely feels like this game and this end game in particular, and like him kind of doing a slow march of death to what seems to be an unwinnable finale. I think it's kind of broken his psyche a little bit, combined with obviously like, the cheating stuff.
Hey, Vince, people love a comeback story, so you can get your life together.
Yeah, just like wait a few years, and Tom Sandoval was a star on the Traitors.
He was, and you know what? Just hit Cameo hard as fuck. Maybe set up a Twitch stream, and Morgan will have you on sometimes, and you can, carve out you can be a waiting room for Morgan while she's, streaming. There are options out there, Vinny. It's not over.
Yeah, I'm sure there are at least a couple of Morgan stands who would like jump on IG Live and like, you can maybe like show some stuff on IG Live to them. I don't know how that works anymore. I feel like that kind of fell off. Yeah, TikTok. Get
a Galaxy. Do TikTok battles. which is debasing, but you can do it. It's out there for you. So.
I don't think Vince cares about debasing from what I've seen of him on the season. Yeah.
Dude, he would be great at begging for tips on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a season, Ben.
Yeah, it's kind of just like, other than the White Lotus week, like the White Locust week, it really has not like let off the gas. A lot of seasons in the end game, you kind of like fall into like a predictable pattern of like what's going to happen, and it's very rare where you enter a finale where more than one person can win.
Right.
Like last season, we entered the finale and we're like, yeah, I mean Chelsea's going to win. The year before, we were like, yeah, Jag is going to win, and then we're like, oh well, wait, hold on, maybe Matt can win. Wait, oh, never mind, Jag's going to win. And then the year before that, like we were, we were thinking that Taylor could win if she got there, but it was like up in the air. 23, we were 100% sure that Xavier was going to win. 22, we were 100% sure that Cody was going to win. 21, we were relatively sure that Jackson was going to win. So yeah, most finales you enter with at least like 95% this person is going to win, and here literally could go either way. Legitimately, any of the three of them could win based off of that jury segment. Like there's still a chance for Vince, even though I think that the jury segment was deliberately misleading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like. Yeah, you went through it all. Tyler Casey is like the last one.
Yep.
And BB19, Josh and Paul. So maybe Josh can win.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. So yeah, it's been a while, but actually 18 was good. 17, obviously Steve. 16, not
yeah.
Good.
No, so I mean, yeah, that 16 through 20 run actually did have some pretty entertaining finales. So
yeah. So yeah. Ben, anything you want to promote before we get on out of here?
No, just me, Brian will be back. Chad was not able to join us tonight, unfortunately, but he will be back with us to cover the finale on Monday. So just check that out. And then obviously me, Brian, and Dylan covered the premiere of Survivor 49. So check that out if you're a Survivor fan. Yeah,
it should be good. We're going this into Survivor, into the Traders, into maybe a Big Brother winter season, into Survivor 50.
Yep.
And we're coming off of this good season. We're coming off of Australian Survivor versus the World. It's been good. We've been eating good as reality TV fans of late.
Yeah.
And Love Island was great this year too. Very fun. So.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for Traders as well. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Really great cast for that. So.
Yep. Oh, and Amazing Race. Big Brother Amazing Race that we will cover. I'm committed. I'm into it. I still got to watch it, so we might do a double episode next week. Just and it'll be on the Have Not Room feed since it's a Big Brother themed season.
Yeah,
I'm not making a new
was fun
just for that.
Yeah. It definitely feels more like an exhibition season of The Amazing Race because of the European adventure situation and also the cast. It's just kind of it doesn't feel like The Amazing Race. It almost feels like a side it almost feels like a reindeer game style kind of vibe. But the cast is really fun. So, and obviously it's Big Brother. So
yeah, I think it'll be good. All right. Well, if you're not tired of us, listen to all those other podcasts that we said. Main channel, Wicked Good Everything, Those Fake Nerds, Wicked Good Sports, and Wicked Scary. Just put a new video up today about the real life inspiration behind Silent Hill. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on Monday.